I'm Erianna Jiles. I'm a first-generation college student, and it's hard for me to pay for college and my bills. Right now, I work at a gas station and live with 4 other roommates. And with the election coming up, my future as a student and a young adult could look very different depending on who wins. After spending 2 years at a community college, I transferred to North Dakota State. It was my first time on a real campus, navigating loans and classes, campus life, and forming my own independence. College affordability is a big challenge for young people in America. One recent survey found that 55% of students struggle to pay for college, and 89% of low-income, first-generation college students leave school without a degree. College affordability is also a big issue being debated in the election this year. Biden's campaign is proposing some pretty radical changes: free community college, tuition-free public universities for students' families who make less than $125,000 a year, and student debt cancellation.
If I get elected president, free college education for 4 years of college, flat out. Anybody with a family less than 125 grand, you're going to get a free education. Everybody gets free education for community college.
According to the U.S. Department of Education, tuition at 4-year institutions have only increased over the years. So who better to talk to than every college student's least favorite person to talk to? The admissions office.
Most of our students are transfer students that there's not always the knowledge around how financial aid works over the course of the whole student experience when you start. So if you started a community college, you're thinking about that year, right? And that next year, not thinking like, how am I going to use the dollars that are available to me to get my 4-year degree or to get my BA or my Bachelor of Science degree. And so a lot of students end up coming to us having either maxed out the financial aid eligibility at the community college or at another institution, not really understanding like what? It's not available anymore. And a lot of those policies change.
And this has been true for me too. Since starting at Metro, I've had to take out subsidized loans just because I cannot cover the rest of my tuition each semester, and because I just don't have the money.
Often like 2,000 students that apply for a few hundred scholarships that are available each spring and each fall. So that gap is significant, right? With the students that need those dollars. And just because you might qualify for enough money to cover your tuition, that doesn't mean that you have then the money to pay rent and to pay for other living expenses. And so that's the hard kind of balance too with financial aid. So how is it going to fit into your overall family budget or individual budget? It's not just about how am I going to pay for school? How am I going to pay for school and all these other things?
Then I started to think about my friend Burley. We met 2 years ago when I was at NDSU, and since then he's graduated, and I wanted to see how he was doing and how he was paying for things.
You're talking to somebody who's already on the thin margins of being able to afford a shitty apartment in a poor state on the outskirts of town. The whole system as it is sort of confusing, because it seems like you have to work at these regular jobs to for people to say, oh, experience and all that. But I always made more money freelancing.
Do you think it's worth it or not to go to college?
I'm so not removed from the college system at this moment to make a really educated decision about that. But educated opinion about that. Right now, I feel like the whole thing's kind of stupid, but at the same time, I don't know what type of doors it will open up for me just for saying that I have a college degree, because that's what a lot of people are. That's what, for most things, the college degree is for these days. You don't really learn too much that you're not going to learn either on the job or on your own.
So, where do the candidates stand on this issue? As mentioned before, Kamala announced massive changes to college affordability, including free tuition public university for lower and middle class students and cancellation of some student debt for young people during the debate. And on the other hand, the Trump administration has made very little progress to address college affordability or the $1 trillion of student debt owed by young people. Over the past 4 years, the White House's big priorities is limiting student loan debt. Trump argues that capping the amount of loans students can take out will force universities to lower their tuition. And Democrats have have said that universities' tuition increases happen despite financial aid caps. I think it's fair to say not a lot of action is being taken to tackle college affordability, but at least it's in the works. A college degree allows you to become an equal player in society and give you access to the middle class. However, if that degree is not affordable, then we're not allowing talented individuals like myself or my friend Burley access to positions of power. To become senators, doctors, and lawyers, and journalists, and make the rules for our society. But what do you think? How does college affordability affect how you choose a candidate? I'm Erianna Jiles for YR Media.